Hey, what is up nerds, geeks, and collectors alike? Today we are taking a look at the Transformers Studio Series number 52, the Transformers Revenge of the Fallen triplets, the motorcycle triplets, Chromia, Arcee, and Elita-One. Now the fembots are obviously a Legends class scale, but with all three of them together, Hasbro put them or classified them as deluxe class. And here we have the packaging. Here we have artwork of Chromia, Arcee, and Elita-One. And right here, this is actually the first 3-pack in the Studio Series line. Here we have their names at the bottom of the box. I got this from my local landmark for about 1,200 pesos, or translated into US dollars, it's about $24. Here we have the artwork of the triplets, the motorcycle triplets, and at the back we have the obligatory CGI product shots. And here we have the number 52, the Studio Series, and some headshots of the fembots. At the top here we have the Transformers Revenge of the Fallen logo, and at the bottom we have the legal mumbo jumbo as well as the UPC. And that's about it for the packaging. I really wonder who's next that's gonna be a 2-pack or a 3-pack. I really wonder if they are going to include Skids and Mudflap in the Studio Series line. I really wonder what they're gonna do with those figures. But for the meantime, let's get the packaging out of here and let's focus on the actual figures itself. And Elita tripped over. And here we have the fembots. Unfortunately, for such characters, such iconic characters, that is, they didn't have much screen time. Their entire screen time was about 1 minute and 2 seconds in the Revenge of the Fallen. But before we take a close look at the figures, let's take a look at the backdrop, which is probably the most screen time they ever gotten during the Battle of Shanghai, where they were pursuing Sideways along with Mudflap and Sideswipe. And here we have a pretty cool backdrop. And here we have the Transformers Revenge of the Fallen logo right here. And at the side we have the number 52 Studio Series. And on the other side, the Autobot logo as well as the Transformers brand. I guess it would be pretty cool to have a Sideways figure as well as a Revenge of the Fallen Sideswipe figure, and maybe an ice cream truck, Mudflap and Skids, but it's for certain I'm gonna get the Chevrolet versions of them. And here we have the motorcycle triplets. And for Studio Series figures, I think they scale, oops, there goes Elita-One. I think they scale pretty well with the other figures, considering that they are actually very small Autobots, not to mention that they transform into motorcycles. And I think it's a pretty good move on Hasbro's part to include all three of them in a deluxe class packaging. Make no mistake, they may look very similar, but in terms of mold, painting, and overall engineering of the figures, they are quite unique in their own way. They transform differently from one another, and I personally think that these three actually gain their deluxe class classification. Most people would judge them for the plastic or their overall mass or their entire build, but for me, I think quality counts, and that's a big factor. I personally think what makes this set very unique is their size. I know that may be a downside for some people, but for me personally, if we're talking about scaling, it's pretty good. And like I said, I think they earned the deluxe class name that has been entitled to them. And we're gonna do something unorthodox here. We're gonna immediately do the size comparisons, because as you can see here, they are a little below 3 inches, or at least Arcee is. And that goes the same for Chromia, unless you count the wheel. So she would go a little above 3 inches, and that goes the same for Elita-One. Elita-One does not reach the 3-inch scale mark. As you can see, they are actually Legends class figures. Here is the Transformers Studio Series Movie 1 Bumblebee, and of course Bumblebee stands about a little above 4.5 inches. And let's get the big man himself. Let's get the Transformers Studio Series leader class, but he is a Voyager class scale, which I think is becoming a trend for Transformers figures. Their classes are not defined by the size of the figures. Unlike before, they are defined with the overall mass and height. Deluxe class are usually in the 5.5 inches mark to 6 inches, and Voyager classes would be 7 inches high. And for the leader class, they would usually be 10.5 inches high. But now, what they tend to do is justify the class with the accessories that figures come with. And let's take a close look at Elita-One first. What we're going to be doing here is taking a look at the figure, its accessories and articulation. Elita-One is made in this gray plastic, and she has some overall purple in order for her indication, and that's what she'll look like in the movie, and with some added black and silver paint for the motorcycle details. She is sculpted beautifully, and later on we will look at the difference of the trio for us to compare the different details. And she doesn't come with this. This is actually a part of her. The tire is more like a weapon, but what she actually comes with is a stand. And these stands are what ensures that she doesn't fall. Even though you can still access the wheel, she will fall. She will not be able to stand with them. So it's a pretty good thing that she comes included with this piece. And that's about it for the accessories. And then moving on to the articulation, Alita's head is on a ball joint right here. Her arms are also on a ball joint right here. This armor piece can be moved up and down right here, but that's more for the transformation later on. She does have an ball joint at the elbow, and she has a ball joint at the waist and a swivel on the also at the waist. And if we want to count her wheel as an articulation, I think you can, and you will, since it is technically her feet and it does move. And then moving on to Arcee, she is uniquely designed. As you can see, the distinct feature of Arcee is that both of her wheels are her feet, while Elita-One had the other wheel as her arm. And as you can see, she is also made in this gray plastic, but she has that color pink in order for her to be distinguished from the trio, and some added silver and black for the motorcycle pieces. And there it is. Her arm is like a gun, but her other arm is actually an accessory here. It is removable. It doesn't clip or peg anywhere, either in robot mode or in vehicle mode. And I think this is a pretty good sculpted weapon for Arcee. My only gripe about this piece is that it is not painted. I wish that this thing is painted, and in order for her to equip her weapon, what you have to do is just slide her arm inside the weapon until it reaches her elbow, and that will be a firm and snug fit. And for articulation, much like Elita-One, she has a ball joint at the shoulder, ball joint at the elbow, and she has a ball joint at the waist right here, and as well as a swivel right here. There you have it. It's kind of hard to see. There's the mushroom peg that gives her the swivel. She also does have a ball joint on top of that mushroom peg. Like I said, they share the same overall body structure, but they are different in terms of detail. And as you can see here, Arcee has an entirely different stand from Elita-One. In order for you not to confuse the stands of each fambot has their own unique stand. And as you can see here, while Arcee slides in actually with two grooves, what you do with Elita, she clips in here at one side, while Arcee just slides into her stand. And since we're talking about stand, let's put them aside. Let's take a look at the stand of Chromia. And Chromia's stand is also unique. She has this square-like notch, and here she has a round one at the side, and that just doesn't clip in, it just slides in there, but it's a good fit. And here we have Chromia. Again, they are made in this gray plastic. She does have a blue in order to indicate who's who from the trio, which is pretty nice. And Chromia actually comes with the most accessories. She comes with 2 accessories. She comes with this armor piece right here, but first let's take out the knife piece right here. Let's take it out. There we go. There it is. And the armor piece is right here. These are actually accessories. These are things that you can choose to attach onto the character or not. But overall, let's take a look at this armor piece. I really like that it's not just made of blue plastic. It has some silver. And here's the knife. It's just 2 tabs. The tabs in there right here. This is what you have to do. There's the 2 slots. And what you have to do is just align it and then press it down there. And for the armor piece, it's actually kind of tricky to actually show, but you just have to follow the shape and just clip it like that. And that's about it for the accessories of Chromia. And as you can see here, she does have her other wheel on the top. Her head is also on a ball joint, her shoulder is on a ball joint, as well as her elbow, but the accessories tend to hinder it. So what we have to do is just remove it. There we go. As you can see, now we can access that beautiful ball joint. And there we go. Her waists are also on a ball joint, and here we have a swivel. And that's about it for the articulation, for the accessories and articulation of Chromia. Now let's get the other fanbots here. Oops, and there goes Elita's stand. Let's fix that right there. And let's get Arcee right here. Like I said earlier, the fanbots share the same structure, but their engineering is very unique. Now let's get them transformed. And here we have Elita in her MV Agusta F4, while Arcee is in her Ducati 848 and Chromia in her Suzuki B King, which I gotta say are absolutely beautiful bikes. I wish we got to see more of them in the Transformers movieverse, and I like the fact that these figures are unique in their own right. And for size comparison, Chromia is about 1 inch high, same goes with Arcee, and with Elita, she is also 1 inch high, and the triplets are about a little above half an inch wide. That is considering that they are motorcycles, which isn't a bad size if we are considering scaling, and that goes the same. I think Elita is the only one to a little below an inch. Actually, Elita is the only one a little below an inch. And for the length of the figures, let's see. Elita is about 2.5 inches, and moving on to Arcee, she is also 2.5 inches. That is from wheel to wheel. And moving on to Chromia, she is about, I think she's the only fambot that has to reach 3 inches in terms of the length of Ultra mode. That's thanks to her exhaust pipe at the back. And here we have the 07 Bumblebee Camaro, and as you can see, I think it is a pretty good scale. That is if we imagine a human riding those bikes, if they would fit into Bumblebee. I think this is honestly a pretty good scale right here. I can see this scaling happening in the real world, which actually is. I think this is a very beautiful figure form representation of not only the Fambots, but of course the alt modes itself, and in terms of scaling as well. But let's see what they look like if compared to an Autobot, to an actual robot. And as you can see, they are very small compared to Optimus in their alt mode, that is. And even in the robot mode, I think they are still small, but that overall isn't a bad thing. And that's the scaling. Let's take a better shot at Optimus. Let's show him from head to toe, and let's fix Arcee, and that's about it for the size comparison. Let's just fix the angle, as you can see here. So that's about it. So my initial thoughts on these figures, I think they make up for the deluxe class classification that has been put under them. They may not be able to reach the amount of plastic to be classified as a deluxe class even if they are combined, but I personally think that with their own unique engineering and their own unique designs, I think what they lack in material, I think they make up for their overall quality in terms of engineering and in terms of their overall design. Like I said earlier, they share the same structure, but their overall painting and sculpting and overall engineering are quite unique, and that's what makes up for what they lack in. But the only thing I wish is that they come with more paint, especially with those tattoos. I think in their alt mode, in their appearance in the movie, they had these Cybertronian glyphs on their alt mode on their bikes, which actually added more character into the figures and overall general character. Truth be told, these figures aren't something that you actually need to get, but personally, as a collector, I like I get characters that I really like, and despite their 1 minute and 2 seconds screen time, that is if you include their time while they were in alt mode, they were just simply passing by the screen. That's their overall screen time. But personally, I like these figures, that's why I picked them up, and design wise they are unique. So if you like this video, drop a like and subscribe for more content. It really helps me out. Till next time, see ya!